Hello everyone, Ninetales here, today with another how to design your island video. So today I wanted to go ahead and focus on something that I think I've seen a lot of cool stuff online, but I wanted to do a new take on it. And today's video is going to be based around a fruit orchard. So obviously what you can see here is I have this area kind of set aside for something cool like a fruit orchard. As you can see, I have all the different kinds of fruit and I have 5 of each kind of fruit. So the biggest thing I wanted to focus on is creating something cool that will fit obviously with my theme of a small town coastal city. Figuring out how you want to place the trees and what you want to add. You can see I've taken this whole picket fence down, and now I have a good amount of space to work with. I put this hole here to kind of determine where I want the edge to be, and the big thing I want to focus on is getting it to fit with my theme. I'm going to hop over here and grab some stuff that I think will help with designing a bit. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of what I've done with a little bit of the area that you have available. So as you can see right here by my entrance to the island, I have this fenced off by the iron fencing. Now I feel like the iron fencing works really well for something like a small town city on the coast. So I plan on using that over in the orchard. Alright, so I'm back at my orchard. So the big thing that I want to figure out is how to make this look nice without making it go overboard either. So all in all, I have about 25 different types of fruit trees. Now that is a lot that you have to figure out how to place. So what I was kind of thinking is instead of having them in lines, I'm going to group them off by the different kinds of fruit. So you have like one type of fruit, you have your second type of fruit up here, you have your third type of fruit in the corner, fourth type of fruit over in this corner, and so on, so on. So first thing that I have to do is dig all of these up. Okay, and now we're back. I've removed all of the fruit trees that I had in there, and I got my calculations wrong. I only had 4 of each type, which is fine. That actually helps things out a lot. So now the thing is figuring out what you want to do with this space. Now the cool thing is there's a lot of potential that I have to be able to work with this and be able to make it look really cool. So I kind of want, if you can imagine it with me, is kind of this path that you can walk through, more of a city type path, like what you would see in a park with a fountain in it, that kind of deal. And then it will lead over to the campsite here. As you can see, I've brought a little bit of iron fencing with me. I'm gonna have to go and craft up a lot more, so just bear with me on that side of things. I have this wall up here that I kind of want to fence off a little bit. So let's just go ahead and see how that will look. And then the cool thing is I can go ahead and dig some holes as to where I think it would be nice to have some trees. So you can add the trees kind of closer together, further apart, whatever you want to do, that's totally acceptable. So since I have 4 of each kind of tree, I can really go all out with all the space that I have. Now I don't mind it being that close, but when you actually look at it in reality, it gets kind of crowded which is why I prefer having 2 spaces apart. But as you can see, that already takes up so much more space than it would have originally. Now, as I want a path kind of going from right here, I'm thinking I'll stick to the edges and then make this little area one giant fruit area, and then I'll have fruit trees kind of lining the top of there. I think that would look really, really cool, but that will require a bit more iron fencing and a bit more work. So I will get back once I have some more iron fencing. Alright, we are back. So as you can see, I've built a lot of iron fencing to make this place look really cool. So the one thing that I want to experiment with is the idea of fencing off the trees themselves while having a nice open area to be able to walk in. Okay, so this is just for testing purposes. How many things can I fit inside of this little boxed area? So I could fit at least 1 grove of trees in here with the current layout. So I think what I'm going to do is extend out this iron fence just by 1 space. And again, this is all just speculative. If you want to go ahead and take this and use it for your own island in some sort of way, go ahead, do that. I'm not gonna mind. I think it's really, really cool if I can inspire people at least a little bit. So I don't mind them being so close together horizontally, but vertically I like them being a little bit further apart. So now that, as you can see, I have went and kind of fenced off a little area for at least 2 different kinds of fruits. So big thing is, I don't really use my fruit all that often, so I don't mind it being fenced off in an area like this. If you do like using it, there are things you can do, like maybe adding an archway into this or otherwise. But for someone like me, I'm going to go ahead and keep it pretty basic like that. I think the trees will look really, really cool. And now the big thing is, I have all this space that I can work with to add in the other 3 kinds of fruits. Now the big thing is figuring out what I want to do down here. Now I don't mind it being so close together, but I think I'm going to go ahead and dig out some areas here and there. So this could very easily be 1 more set of fruit, could be a 2nd set, and then what I'm thinking is 1 space over like that, and then every couple of spaces, yep, just far enough. So, and like that, I already have all the places for the trees planned out. So the big thing is figuring out where you want to put things. I think that's the biggest factor. And now, if I were to fence all of this off, I would have a huge area to be able to work with here for a cool path or whatnot. Let's go ahead and start construction for Island Designer. So the thing that I want to do is, going with my theme, I really like fountains. If I could figure out a way to put a fountain here, that would be really, really cool. Biggest thing though is I'm not sure of the amount of space I really have to work with. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and just kind of path out this whole thing. Thing is, I don't mind the terracotta tile there. But you can mess around with some other ideas. The reason I want to use the terracotta tile is it's very bright, but there is a cool potential that this pathway could work too. Overall, I think I like the arched tile path better, so let's go ahead and roll with this one just to see how it will look in general. So, all the paving is done. I'm going to go ahead and place down this iron fencing just as a placeholder. Now, I really like the idea of a flower bed, but it's just figuring out if that would work here. So, I personally like the idea of having little breaks in between these areas to kind of go and explore. So let's go ahead and see how it would look if we were to just open this up a little bit. And who knows, let's go ahead and add some dirt pathways. Okay, so already, even with this little snapshot here, I really like the idea of having at least one path into the orchard itself. That way I can still access some of the fruit. So let's go ahead and place some of this fencing back where it was. So let's go ahead and continue on with the dirt path paving. Now, the only reason I say dirt path specifically is it just kind of works a little bit better than maybe dark dirt path, because I feel like the dark dirt path is more for flower beds than anything. This is more for if you're wanting to go on a walk. I do like the idea of adding like a little flower bed, but I only want to add it in certain areas. Now, let's go ahead and add it where I want it. The same over here. But now I want to see something. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the shovel and then plant our first little batch of fruits. Let's go ahead and add some more trees into place. So we have apples, and we're going to go ahead and do cherries here. Thing is, you could always just have the fences sitting there on the grass. Okay, so now what I want to do is kind of do the same over here with this little segment, with a dirt path running through it, and then we'll add some, I don't know, it's either going to be flowers or floor lights. Okay, so now I have kind of a little orchard path that really kind of ties in well with a theme that I'm trying to go for. So I'm not really going to worry about this area just yet, because I really want to focus on this big chunk of land. So now the big thing is, I have all these spaces with a dark dirt path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add flowers into those spaces, just to really kind of spruce things up a little bit. You might not be able to see all of them, but that's okay. And then throughout here, you can add cool things like benches, and I'll go ahead and showcase it because I have enough to make a lot of cool benches. So I'll showcase some ideas of what I have here. So all in all, I'm going to need at least 26 different flowers. What I have here is blue pansies and whatnot, accented by red flowers and yellow hyacinths. Now, I don't necessarily feel like that will work with what I'm trying to do up in the orchard, since I have a good amount of limited space. So we're going to go ahead and change things up a little bit. Now, obviously, you're not really going to be able to see a whole lot of it, and I kind of want these ones to be uniform. I'm thinking I'm going to go with lilies for the singles. So as you can see, I'm kind of doing like a blue-orange. Now, most people aren't going to see that. It's not a common thing that you can really look past trees unless you would want to, like that. But I think it looks really cool with the shade and whatnot. Kind of that feel that you're walking along a nature path, especially in here. So I got 9 lilies with me, and 3 of each different color. Now I like the idea of yellow, white, but I also like the idea of like red mixed in with white. There we go. That adds just the right amount of accent color that we wanted. So as you're walking along here, you get a nice little view of the flowers, and obviously figuring out what you want to do with these. I think I'm going to add roses in here. Okay, so now I've collected all the flowers that I need again. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at what we have created. So, as you can see, I've kind of created this little pathway for an orchard. Now, I really like the look of what I've done with all the fruits. I feel like sectioning them off in a way that is also open is really, really nice. And also, because I don't use the fruits all that often, all I really need to do if I want to get to them is take down the fencing. So I'm not really bothered by that, but I know if it bothers you, then you can obviously space it out a bit more. If you have the space, that is. Don't just blindly jump into something if you don't have the space for it, because you will run out of resources and time really, really fast if you just jump blindly into something. We have this big path to work with that I want to test out a few things. So the biggest thing is I have some benches that I'm going to add here and there. And then I also want to see what a fountain would look like in here. So first and foremost, I want to see if a fountain would even be a feasible option. I feel like it's just really, really big and takes up a lot of space. So I'm going to have to figure out another way to influence all of that, which I have some ideas. Okay, so now we're back with some stuff that I think might be able to help with the look of this pathway here. Now, biggest thing is figuring out where you want certain things. So I have a bunch of garden benches that I really like putting around here. I feel like these will make things look a bit more like an actual pathway than anything else, really. And then obviously have these up to the side. I picked 3 because although I could do 4 in a really cool way, I have some other ideas on what I want to do. So I'm planning on adding a snack machine and vending machine right here. Okay, so we're back with the snack machine and drink machine. So my idea is kind of putting them like right along in here. I feel like it can work out pretty well if you do it right. I hope you can kind of see what I'm trying to do with that. Kind of like a little park area, and then you have your vending machine and whatnot, and then you can go and sit down, have a snack, view some of the fruit up there. Overall, I really like the look of that, so now I have some other stuff I can add. And it kind of spruces things up just enough so that you can feel like you're still in that city area without it being too much. And there's still a lot of open area that you have to work with. So when it comes to making something like a fruit orchard, you don't necessarily have to make it have an orchard feel. So overall, thank you for watching. I do hope this inspires you to create something of your own on your island. To really just spice things up a bit and make it look really, really nice. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of these kinds of island design videos, like how to design your island. If you guys want, I can put together compilations of like how I design my island. I might be able to do some island tours if you want to, so you can get inspiration from other people. So if you know of any people who have some really cool islands or really cool ideas that you want to showcase, let me know in the comments down below or on any of my social medias, and I will hopefully get to you soon. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next Animal Crossing or other video. This is Ninetales, signing off. Bye!